going on there? Guys, we back with another one. We got Stephen A. Smith responding to LeBron James' friend cuffs the legend and Kwame Brown. And Stephen A. is pretty much talking about his basketball resume. There's been a lot of questions about his camp. You know, it's close to $3,000. Or, I mean, that's what the flyer said. People are like, what is Stephen A. going to teach people about basketball? And Stephen A. is like, look, I wasn't just no regular player in high school. I was good enough to get a scholarship to go to Winston-Salem State, you know, and, you know, that's true. For him to get a scholarship, Stephen A. had to be at least, you know, decent in basketball, or otherwise he wouldn't have gotten one. And the thing, and also he said that he cracked his knee his freshman year there, so that's why he only averaged what he averaged, like 1 point a game or something like that. That's why he averaged that, because he wasn't able to perform up to his peak capabilities anymore after that happened. But a lot of people have been questioning his basketball resume. You go back to J.J. Redick saying he hasn't played any high-level basketball when they had the Kawhi discussion and all that. What I will say is Kwame has been trying to get a similar message across the entire time. When the narrative in media about him was being a bust, he was saying, I put my mom on a golf course at, what was it, 18, 19 years of age. And so that person can't possibly be a bust. And I feel like it's created this culture where you see the kids going up to Cam Newton now and calling him garbage and all that. Like, everything is so microwave society. What have you done for me lately? Not your resume, not what you've brought to the table, but how I perceive you to be in the moment. And I don't think that's fair to do to anyone. I wouldn't do that to Stephen A. in his media career, knowing what he did in Archdale. He's close to High Point, you know, close to Greensboro, close to Asheboro. And I know him working for that paper, he couldn't have been making much money. So I know the grind that he comes from in that world. I'm just saying, you know, he's pretty much saying what Kwame's been saying. Let's check it out.
1 motherfucking point in college. So by my math, he can get $3,000 per kid in college for 1 fucking point and got his coach fired. So that might be the .6 or whatever the hell he got. If he can get $3,000 per point, then fuck it. I want $3,000 per point. Shit. And 6 times 3 is 18. So I'm validating my charge. 18,000 per child. I'll get him to the NBA.
Let's get the basketball stuff out of the way. I'm sick and tired of people lying about my basketball resume. Ladies and gentlemen, when I say that I wasn't great, I'm talking about compared to greatness. I was good enough to get a basketball scholarship. I was good enough to get my education paid for. They talk about I averaged 1.5 points a game. I saw some article on social media. That's a lie. It was less. See that? You didn't know I was going to say that, did you? It was less than that. It's a lie. How about 0? Because I never played. Because I cracked my kneecap in half. I got operated on at Wake Forest University. They said I'd never walk straight again. My bone cracked in half. My first year at Winston-Salem State. I still have those knee pains to this very day. You want to sit up there and think, I just ride the bench. I couldn't play. Ask people who played against me whether or not I could play.
So I get that, Stephen A. I understand how injuries can affect your basketball game. You know what I'm saying? I ain't taking nothing away from that. What I will say is those low lights you broadcasted of Kwame Brown on ESPN First Take when you did that segment to respond to what he had been saying on his YouTube channel. He has several injuries at that point too, and he was playing, you know, he went out there to play through it. So you found some low lights when the man was injured to put out there, and he was doing it at the highest level too. So that's what I would say about that. You know, I still don't think y'all have chopped it up. I mean, I think apologizing to him would mean a lot. I also know that you got on Stephon Marbury's nerves because Marbury felt betrayed. He allowed you to come cover him in high school when he was the hottest prospect in the nation. And then some of the things you ended up saying when you got on First Take rubbed him the wrong way, because he really trusted you. Like, you met his mom and you met his whole family. So that's why he was coming at you. And I know, looking at you now on the other side of it on YouTube and stuff, you're getting to be your real self a little bit. But some of the damage is already done. As far as, like, I think Kwame was saying brands didn't want to work with him and stuff like that based off some of the stuff you were saying and some of the speeches that were being given at colleges and things like that. But I think Stephen A is wanting the same thing that Kwame is wanting, and that's just respect on what he brought to the table. Kwame was a McDonald's All-American, #1 draft pick to the Wizards, and we see how Michael Jordan do teams now. That doesn't get talked about enough. How many people you seen drafted to Charlotte sent down to the G League? Prime example. Malik Monk had his best year coming off the bench in Sacramento this year. But Michael Jordan was sending him down to the G League and just starring Terry Rozier over draft picks. You know, Dwayne Bacon is out the league. You know, God rest his brother's soul. He just lost his brother the other day. But I don't feel like sometimes players get a fair share when Jordan drafts them, man. I just don't. You know, LaMelo Ball's doing pretty decent, but look at most of the other people Michael Jordan's drafted. You've seen some of these players start out slow in Charlotte. He drafted Christian Wood, I believe, right? Didn't he he had Christian Wood at some point, and then he went somewhere else and became a really good player. So I think on top of Washington not being a fit, I think sometimes Jordan and the way he manages personnel is just not good. People don't get an opportunity sometimes, man. And look at this. Caleb Martin this year. Perfect example. Miami Heat, he was good enough to start on the finals and play great against Boston to help get him over the hump. So I can't put that all on him. You have coaches and everything, but there seems to be a pattern when people start out on teams that Jordan has a lot of weight in the front office with. The players don't reach their level until they leave there, or they don't have enough of a resume and they end up having to go overseas. And Kwame, they didn't even really want him. He said several times they wanted Elton Brand. And the way you start off your career can change so much. It's a lot of guys. I look at someone like Harry Giles. He's gotten healthy. He's good enough to come back in the NBA and play for Charlotte right now. I bet if he got the minutes PJ Washington got, Harry Giles would produce at a higher level with him being healthy, barring injury. But he's not going to get an opportunity. So what I'm saying is sometimes guys just don't get the opportunity, and sometimes they battle in health, and then once they get healthy, they don't get the chance anymore. You saw what Gilbert said. Gilbert said that Kwame could have been an all-time great big man, you know, and someone that played in the NBA that long, they do some things really well to keep them there, because you got to remember, NBA is a young man's game. You always looking to replace someone with the up-and-coming young prospect. The fact that someone could hold down those jobs, as Stephen A has held down a job on TV through all these firings and everything, you know, it's something to be commended. And I think Kwame just wanted his respect the entire time, and to see that as a young kid on TV and feel targeted, I see why he felt the way he felt. And Stephen A is starting to feel some of that. And I just put all that together because he is responding. He's basically saying what Kwame is saying. Like, the reality of it, or like Kwame say, in real life though, I'm in the NBA. I'm one of the few of hundreds, just a few hundred people that have one of these jobs. And that's how Stephen A feels about his media career. But he was talking about his basketball career, because a lot of that stuff came up surrounding his camp, man. I ain't here to knock nobody hustle. I'm just stating the facts. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time. Peace.